What's up, everybody? If you've been truly looking for a way to differentiate your business and do something different than many other trades contractors are not doing right now, this is most certainly the show for you. Let's get it, y'all. What's up, trade crew? Welcome back to the HVAC R&D podcast, the home of the trade crew, the voice of distribution, contractors, and manufacturers. We're rolling into Q2 with some serious momentum, and the show is growing bigger than ever. The HVAC R&D Substack newsletter is officially live. The Ramblin' Rhino column is back in full force with multiple fresh articles dropping every single week, and the newly relaunched resource hub at hvacrnd.com is now going to be your go-to spot for tools, products, partners, and insights built to help you grow in the trades. So if you believe in real conversations from the truck to the boardroom, make sure you like, follow, and subscribe to the show. Don't forget to subscribe to the newsletter so you never miss the conversations, columns, and resources built for the people keeping this industry moving. Big shout out to our Q2 partners making it all happen: Diversitech, LiveSwitch, RLS Rapid Locking System, True Nature Meats Company, Residio, and Mon Hummel. Now lock in, turn it up, and let's get into another great conversation right here on HVAC R&D. Hey everybody, welcome back to HVAC R&D, and today I am joined by Tim Byrd. He is the founder and CEO of Warranty RE and Dealer RE. Tim has spent over 30 years helping businesses set up and manage their own warranty companies, primarily in the automotive world, and now he's bringing that same structure into HVAC and the home service industry. This conversation is about warranties, reinsurance, tax strategy, but more importantly, it's how contractors can better understand where their money is going, when and why, and how they sell labor warranties, and how you can make it an asset to your business instead of just another expense. So Tim, welcome to the show. Thank you for your time today.
Thanks for having me.
So like we said a little bit before we got started, I really love talking to real people and letting people understand who it is that's on the show. I know we dig into all different kinds of topics, but at the end of the day, you know, what makes the trade crew and the listenership of this show, one of the best things about it is that we're all just normal, everyday men and women just trying to get things done and do it the right way. So tell me a little bit about some of your backstory and then how you ended up getting into warranty companies in the automotive space.
All right, I'd be glad to. So, well, I live in Virginia, and I came up here in the Coast Guard. So that's how I originally got here. But just to let you know how old I am, I came here, I got out of the Coast Guard in 1983. So before many of you guys were born, but I'm really not that old. It just seems that way.
You're only as old as you feel, right? Or so you
right.
Tell yourself.
That's right. So I have 8 kids. I have 4 grandkids, and we have 4 boys and 4 girls. They're all grown. Our youngest is 25, and so they're all out on their own for the most part. And we live on a little farm here in Virginia. We call Critter Cove, and I can get into more of that in a minute. But we're literally on a peninsula that sticks out in a lake. And when I first found this place, I was like, man, this is the perfect place to raise kids. And, you know, I've always been a believer that if what God gives us things, and those things are a stewardship, okay? And
Yes,
I tell
sir.
people, if you don't believe it, you just come here the day after my funeral, and it'll still be here, and it'll be somebody else's stewardship. So everything we have is from God, and you know He has a tendency to give us a little bit of things, and then if we do well with that, He'll give us more and more to work with, so that but for His glory. And so I saw this little farm as a place for us to bring kids that don't normally get to go out in the country and see horses and chickens and dogs and go fishing and swimming in a lake. And so we created Critter Cove Children's Ministry. And so every June, July, and August, we let groups of kids come here and just have a great time, have all kinds of activities that they have here, catch fish. We've had so many kids catch their first fish here. And then we tell them about Jesus, because that's the main reason, and let them see all this creation that goes along with that. So about just to back up a little bit, over 30 years ago, I was working for I was in the insurance business, probably closer to 40 years ago, and I got in the car business. And after being in the car business, I was hired to train finance and insurance guys. And so I did that for quite some time. And then I decided to start my own business. And when I did that, I got into this niche of um, finding that what we were doing. Let me back up and say we were like a third party warranty company. We were providing warranties for car dealers, and they would sell those to their customer. And then I realized that there was a better way, and that way was to set up reinsurance companies. Because when you set up a reinsurance company, you are become your own warranty company. So I don't want to get too far ahead of you here, but
Yeah, we'll save a little bit of that, and we'll dig into
right,
that next so that it makes a little bit more sense. Well, and I'll back you up just a little bit. Talking about your children's ministry. When I was a kid, I used to go to a place called Camp Greer in Old Fort, North Carolina, and some of my funnest childhood memories of summer camp were going to a Christian youth summer camp, and it makes a huge difference to be able to have places like that for impressionable young minds to go for the right reasons.
right. And so, we don't charge anything for anybody to come here. We just open up our property for them to come and just enjoy themselves. And maybe I mean, there's not a tremendous amount of places like that. There are camps here and there, but for, somebody just to bring a group of homeschoolers, for instance,
Yep.
or we have local daycares that summertime, mom and dad's working, so the kid has to go to daycare all summer, and they will bring those kids and come to Critter Cove. So it's a blessing, and I'm very grateful to be a part of it. So we've been doing that for quite some time, and
That's awesome.
yeah,
So, like you said, around 1994, you kind of got into the automotive space. You were educating people on what, reinsurance was, since you were selling these extended warranties for them. To kind of start, I guess let's start there with what reinsurance really means. From an HVAC perspective, if you're a contractor listening to the show that's never heard the word reinsurance, outside of, you might have heard it in an insurance commercial, you may have not, you probably haven't. So what does reinsurance truly mean?
well, reinsurance means that you are what we do is we set you up to own your own insurance company, but we back you up with another company, so we're reinsuring you just in case your warranty or insurance company falls apart. You use all your money to pay claims, which I can tell you in my 30-year history has never happened. But you're being backed up so that uh, because we're protecting the consumer. Everybody's familiar with the CFPB, the Consumer Finance Protection Bureau. Well, the CFPB was put into place to protect the consumer, and so if there has been times in the past when warranty companies would go out of business. I'm talking about the big guys. It's happened two or three times in the last 20, 30 years. And then car dealers and customers got left holding the bag. There was nothing there for them. So what happens with this is we make sure that never happens. We insure your insurance company basically, so that you can provide warranties, and there's always if there is a claim, even if your company goes out of business, there's always going to be money to pay claims.
So why is a labor warranty I guess, such a big opportunity, but also a potential big financial risk for the contractor?
Well, when you when you go out here and you do a job and you have things happen, okay? Uh, whether it's your tech Bubba that you sent out there that didn't do something right, or sometimes new parts fail, so you never know, but you got to go back and fix it. And
Yep.
right now, if when you go out and do it, you're usually just eating it. So not only do you have a situation where you are taking a problem that comes up, taking a guy off another paying job to send him to resend him to a job, and now he's not on the paying job. He's redoing the other job, and you have to eat that time that it takes to do that. So a lot of now, some HVAC owners will set aside some money just in case that ever happens. They just put it in a drawer or another account or whatever. But the problem is that most HVAC companies are either an LLC or an S corp, and which is a flow through. Okay, so for every dollar you make, what you don't expense out ends up the owner of the company has to pay tax on that. Okay, so what and a lot of times, and what you can probably attest to this, is that you're paying taxes sometime on money that you don't really have in your hand. but,
Yep.
but and so what we do is by setting you up with your own warranty company that you, the business owner, own. And I want to make that clear. You are the stockholder. There are no other employees. You just hire us to take care of the whole thing for you, every bit of it. All you have to do is continue to do what you're doing. You provide a 1 year, 2 year, 3 year labor warranty, and then you take a certain amount of money out of each job and you send that, you expense it out of your S Corp LLC. And so you're not paying taxes there. And then you're sending it to your warranty company. And once it gets to the warranty company, it just builds up over there. You don't pay taxes on that money. So you're just piling it up. I like to say it for you country boys like me, you're stacking up firewood, buddy. You're stacking up firewood over here. And so that when you need it, you go over and get a piece and cover a job. Okay. But if you don't need it, the money that you've set aside now goes from premium, which is the customer's premium, until the contract expires. But once it expires, it becomes underwriting profit. And the best way I can explain that, you guys, everybody has car insurance, right? So, car insurance, you ever notice that a car insurance policy is either for 6 months or 12 months at the most? It's never over 12 months,
Yep.
right? And the reason for that is that after 6 months, that contract expired. So the money that you sent in as premium, once that contract expires, it becomes underwriting profit, and it is taken into income by State Farm, whoever, farmers, whoever that are doing that, right? They now take it into income. And guess who has the biggest buildings in the city? Okay. You go up there, you go to any city, go to Charlotte, buddy, and look up there and see who owns those buildings, the banks and the insurance companies. And that's because that money turns into underwriting profit.
That's a huge chunk for people to digest. And I want to just kind of let that sit for a minute, because you think about that, like, I'm paying $200 a month for insurance on this vehicle, and in 6 months when this is up, I've given them $1,200. That's now just $1,200 in profit for them.
That's right.
So, and the difference is, most contractors are using a third party. If you're doing extended labor stuff, I'm not going to name names because I'm not going to get anybody else offended. But you're buying it from a third party labor warranty company, and at the end of whatever term it is you've bought it for, let's say you bought a 3-year labor for them, at 3 years, if you hadn't made a claim, the $600 that it costs for that warranty straight to their bottom line.
Absolutely.
The
That's
whole
right.
point of doing this and talking to people like Tim and being able to set something up like this for yourself is, if you're buying a couple hundred extended labor warranties every single year, how many times are you actually having to claim on them? Well, if instead of buying them from the other third party, you have an established company, ABC Insurance Company over here that you are the owner of, and you're going to do 200 of these a year, and you're going to sock away 200 times 600 every single year for 3-year labor warranties or whatever big you decide to make them. You are building, not just stacking up firewood, but you're building a nest egg for your company for any time something goes wrong.
Yeah,
And I
you're
think
talking about
that's the biggest thing you've got to be able to take from this.
just in that scenario, you're talking about $120,000 a year. Okay.
Absolutely.
And let me tell y'all why I started looking at HVAC companies,
Yeah.
because they are more similar to car dealerships than probably any of the other home services. And we do business with all kinds of home services people, okay, whether it's roofers or electricians, plumbers. But HVAC, you're out there selling units, right? You're installing units, and people expect those to, if it breaks, you're going to fix it. All right. And so, and like you said, if you're buying it from a third party, you're just putting money in their bank account. So I had gone to there's a organization called Rhydon Ventures that I'm a part of, and Rhydon Ventures has a program where they bring in business people and they teach them how to grow their business. Okay, and that's been huge for us because it just helps to give you a path to run on. That being said, I'm sitting there talking at lunch. I'm talking to this guy that owns an HVAC company. Now, this guy's pretty big, okay? He sells 1,500 HVAC units a year. And he was buying a just a labor warranty. He was paying $400 as a value add for every one of those. All right. Now to him, before you think about it, it's just like, all right, you bought an AC unit for, let's say, $7,000. I'm talking about you, the contractor. You're buying the HVAC unit from Carrier or whoever, and you're paying a certain amount for it. And then because they only cover the parts, the parts of not the labor part. And then he was, as a value add, he goes and he buys this labor warranty from Joe Blow Warranty or whatever, right? And so I'm like, do you realize that you're sending them $600,000 a year? So I want y'all to understand something. Uncle Sam says that you can put $2.9 million a year into a reinsurance company without paying taxes. The only tax that you would pay is that money as it sits there. And I want y'all to know there's no flow through. All right. It sits there and you can borrow from it, which doesn't create a taxable event and all. But when that stuff earns out, then you can take it as a dividend distribution, or what most people do is borrow the money. And let me tell you why. First of all, what do rich people do? They borrow till they die, right?
Yep.
They borrow because that does not create a taxable event. So what you can do with this is, even if you took a dividend distribution, you're only paying 20% dividend tax. And let me back up and say, if the money sitting there is earning interest of some sort, then you pay a 20% tax on that. Okay. Same thing if you take a dividend distribution, you're going to pay 20%. And that's the only time, let me point this out real quick. That's the only time If you take a dividend distribution, is the only time that your personal tax return will ever even indicate anything about your reinsurance company. Now, we do a tax return for you for each one of those companies, okay? But they're two separate things. It doesn't show up on your personal tax return, all right? However, when that money is when you take that money as a loan, and let's say that Ryan, let's say that you bought a bunch of equipment, you bought some new trucks, you bought a new building or something. So this year, because of you got a big write-off, right?
Yep.
You got a big write-off because you had to buy some stuff. Okay, you can literally and you can literally take a non-cash dividend to pay off the loans that you took against your business, okay? And then now you're not paying taxes on it either because you have the write-offs to cover it. Does that make sense?
This episode of the HVAC R&D podcast is brought to you by Diversitech, the one-stop source for contractors who want to simplify every job. Whether you're stocking up on install supplies, service parts, thermostats, controls, or digging into the legendary tool line from Hillmore, Diversitech has you covered. They're not just a parts supplier. They help build solutions for HVAC pros, offering pads, condensate management gear, electrical parts, replacement components, premium tools that make install, service calls, and maintenance faster, cleaner, and more professional. Partnering with Diversitech means fewer trips back to the supply house, more time on the job, and less chance of callbacks because you're using the right gear from the start. If you want to work smarter, stay stocked up, and show up for every job ready, Diversitech is a trade pro's best friend. Now, trade crew, depending on when you're hearing this, you may have already seen, or soon you will see, the president of Mon Hummel have me literally jump on one of their filters during the AHR Expo. And let me tell you, rhinos don't just jump on anything. The thin line Ultramax frameless HVAC mini pleat filter is built for commercial and industrial applications where medium to high efficiency filtration truly matters. It delivers MERV 13 performance with low pressure drop to help maximize energy savings, plus high dust holding capacity for extended service life. And there's no traditional plastic, metal, or cardboard frame, reducing environmental impact while still delivering serious durability. If it can handle a rhino, it can handle your job site. Learn more through the Mon Hummel link in the HVAC R&D Vendor Hub today. It makes sense. And some of that is, like I said, that's some of that's a little bit down the road of how they get there. So we've talked about how much money we're giving an insurance company that you would be better off giving yourself. I use an example of, 200 systems, you use one of 1,500 systems. At what point size wise, and it may be from the beginning, I don't know, but at what point size wise should a contractor look at doing something like this? Is it something that they should consider, as soon as they start their business? Be like, look, if something I'm going to do is I want to buy extended warranties, if that's something that's part of your business plan, would you want to set this up in the beginning alongside with opening your business so that it's already set up for you to start using it the way you would like to?
Well, I think if somebody's brand new into the business, that might be difficult. It's important that you are doing enough volume to justify it, just like anything else. There are expenses to owning a reinsurance company, and those expenses are you got to do a tax return, so we have to pay a CPA, and you got to do a license renewal each year. We got to, just like your business should now. So those things cost money. All right. So you want to be able to, and you got to pay claims. So you're going to have claims. So I think that if you're doing 15, 20 jobs a month, then you're plenty big enough. I'm talking about 15, 20 units a month. You're plenty big enough that you can start a reinsurance company.
Gotcha. With all those things, like you said, you've got to have the reinsurance company that's at in of itself. Obviously, like you said, you're going to be paying a CPA. So what do you actually have to have in place to open the reinsurance company? Because obviously you're going to have someone that can underwrite the plan and everything else. What all has to be put in structure for this to happen?
Well, we do that for you. Okay, we do everything for you. It's just a matter of once you say go, we will got some paperwork we got to fill out, and we'll fill out that paperwork, get some information from you, such as your driver's license, everything. We want to make sure that you're a business in good standing. We want to do business with good people just like you do. So we're going to check and make sure you're a business in good standing, and it takes probably 2 to 4 weeks to get somebody up and running, but that includes setting up. You'll have a portal where you can put in your contracts. You can have a portal where you go in and file a claim. And I'm sure you guys want to know about how that works, claim processing. But it's pretty simple. It's pretty simple. The main thing is that whatever term of the contract that you have, we have to keep up with it for that long. Okay, so if you write a 1 year contract, then of course it's going to earn out in a year. We have to keep track of it for a year. If you write a 3 year, then of course same thing. So it's not a difficult process, and this is a turnkey program with us. And I want y'all to understand something. We've been doing this with car dealers since 1994, as you mentioned. All right, and so the thing is when we started in the car business, there were not a lot of people that were in the car business that was doing reinsurance 30 years ago. And right now there's nobody in the HVAC business that's doing this. There may be one or two in obscurity out there that's trying to break into this business, but I don't even really know. The thing is that every town, every county in America that has HVAC guys, okay? They all do. And we're just trying to get the word out because, of course, we want to grow our business just like you do. But we have a reputation that that shows that we try to deliver Ritz-Carlton service to everybody because that's how we want to be treated. We want to treat you like you would want to be treated, like we want to be treated. And so by taking good care of you, making sure that we like I said, we've been doing this for a long time, and we're going to treat you just like we do our car dealer clients.
Walk me through. Like I said, we've kind of went through it, but basic. Well, we'll talk basic flow. Contractor goes out, sells the equipment. He picks his 1, 2, 3 year labor. Which actually, I'm going to ask another question first. How elaborate potentially, and I get this can be a double-edged sword when you start adding all kinds of different things to it. But how elaborate can they actually get with plans they want to offer? Let's say they want to offer a 1, 2, 3, 5, 10, year labor contract or
Right.
labor warranty, or they want to have certain labor contract rates for certain types of equipment. Let's say they only replace the furnace on an existing system, but they want to, instead of it being $600, maybe that's their system price for a 3 year warranty. They want to do it on just the furnace and it's $200. How elaborate can you get with these programs? And then I'll ask kind of the next question.
Well, one of the things that we find is that when people get into they start a reinsurance company and they start seeing the benefits of it, they want to come up with some more ways to feed it. All
Makes
right.
sense.
Because keep this in mind, guys, and I want to reiterate this because it's incredibly important. This is your money. This is not whatever your HVAC company's money is. It's the stockholders' money only. All right. Now you can use it to grow your business or whatever. You may have another kind of business. We have car dealers that have carpet stores and different things like that. So there are different different things that you can do to build up. And some of those things is that, you could have a maintenance program. I know our local HVAC guy here, he has a maintenance program. Or you could have service contracts, or you can have warranties. Now, I will tell you this. Warranties are governed by the federal government under Magnus and Moss. Service contracts are governed by each individual state. Okay. So those have to have state approval depending on what state you're in. But that's just something that we go through a process that it's not a real big hurdle. So you have warranties, you have service contracts, and you have maintenance programs that I think would best tie into, and different terms. Yes, you could have different terms. You could have different things on. The only thing that we're looking for is, what was the customer's name? What was their address? And when did you sign them up? Okay. Because that's when the warranty starts. And and it has to be tied to a consumer, because you are setting aside funds to cover a risk. This is a potential risk that you have, that something's going to happen and that you're going to have to go out and cover it. And then that what insurance is to begin with is, we buy insurance for our house, our cars, just in case something happens. So what we're doing here is we are covering the risk that you have. You have this risk. So we're just giving you a way to reserve for it, so that if something does happen, you have the funds, a capital resource. And that's the cool thing about this, is that you're building up, as I was talking about stacking firewood, you're building up a capital resource. So just your scenario, you were talking about, $200 at $600, and that's $120,000 a year this year. Next year, you put in another $120,000. Now you're at $240. Next year, you put in another $120,000. Now you're at $360. And so it builds up, and before you know it, you got $1 million in your account. And and now you can tap into that and use it. We had a client the other day, Rhydon, that, man, he calls us up and he says, "Look, my son wants to buy a house, and instead of getting a mortgage, I'm going to just loan him money out of my reinsurance company." And we're like, okay. And so he didn't have to go through the big rigmarole of a mortgage and all that stuff. He just borrowed the money right out of his reinsurance company and had his kid pay back the reinsurance company just like he would a mortgage. But the thing is, it's not front-loaded interest like with a mortgage, right? So he can get it paid off a lot quicker. And so, of course, dad is not only helping his kid, but the kid's helping him, because the kid's going to pay him a little bit of interest for using that money.
Trade Crew, I'd like to introduce you to my friends over at LiveSwitch. If you haven't heard of them, they're developing a platform specifically for trades contractors and service professionals like yourselves. So picture this. Mrs. Jones calls the office. Her furnace is making some kind of strange sound. Normally, you would just have to roll the truck and go see what's going on. But instead, with LiveSwitch, you can jump on a video call right then and there with no app with Mrs. Jones. You can see things from her perspective on a fully functional video call. You can take screenshots, you can record, and you can deliver a different experience that no other contractor is giving their homeowners right now. If you're worried about it working with stuff you're already using, you know what? It integrates perfectly into Jobber, Service Titan, House Call Pro, any of the stuff that you guys are already using. It makes it a seamless transition to add this new tool to your arsenal. Go to hvacrnd.com, visit the vendor hub, set up your LiveSwitch demo today. You can also click the link down in the description below, or you can find the link to the demo in my bio. Thanks everybody for listening to the show. Check out LiveSwitch. I promise you it is an app for you. It gives you an ability to do something completely different for homeowners that no one else is doing right now. You guys won't be disappointed. Go schedule your demo today. Trade crew, let me ask you something. How many leads are you paying for right now that never actually turn into book jobs? That's where Chirp comes in. Chirp is built specifically for home service companies to help automate your follow-up through text, email, voicemail drops, and now AI-powered conversations, so your leads aren't sitting there going cold while you're out running calls. Because the reality is, speed to lead matters. If somebody fills out an online form and doesn't hear back quickly, they're already calling the next contractor. Chirp helps bridge the gap by instantly starting the conversation and keeping follow-up moving automatically. And what I really like is that it still feels human and not robotic. It integrates with platforms like Housecall Pro, Service Titan, Field Pulse, Jobber, and more, helping you stay in front of customers without creating more office chaos. If you want to convert more leads that you're already paying for, head over to Chirp, automate the follow-up, and close more deals. Make sure to go to the HVACRD.com resource hub and book your demo today and find out more about what is truly the most badass AI lead conversion system in the trades. Dave Ramsey would be rolling over right now. Don't loan your kids money. But no, that's a great point though. And I think that's what I found the most interesting in this is I've had customers in the past that they were trying to figure out how to effectively do an in-house warranty to take care of people because they just didn't want to trust a third-party warranty company. Now, this was, I would say, when I dealt with this at one point was maybe 2015, 2016, and I wish I had known about your company then because I could have turned him right into this and it would have been perfect for him. Because he was doing, 150, maybe 200 systems a year, and it was the exact size we're talking about right now. And, being 10 years later at this point, it would have completely changed so much of his business at this point and his life.
Can you imagine how much money it's
worth? Oh, man. Absolutely. So I think the other big thing about this is, it's not a scam of any kind. It's a different way of looking about how you take care of your customers while also actually taking care of yourself and your company and your family. And most heating and air companies are still privately owned. They're not all private equity and everything else. Private equity is coming for everybody, but I think if you're a business owner and you have an opportunity like this and you're already offering extended warranties, there is no reason why you shouldn't at least consider doing it for yourself. Some of these things, if I had known them when I was, helping Dad run his business, I might not be in distribution. I might still be a contractor and I might be living on the lake just like Tim. So there's a lot of different things that I think this could open up for someone that's in a growing business that's looking for ways to really set their business and themselves up personally for the next 30, 40 years and the rest of their life.
Well, I was talking to a home services guy the other day who said these exact words. He said, "We thought that we had done all we could to lower our tax liability." Okay. And now he's like, this opens up a whole new world. Now we see that there is another way. And not only does it help you to pay less taxes inside your company, and I mentioned S Corps and LLCs. I talked to an HVAC guy the other day who was a C Corp. Well, this is especially great. It's great for everybody. But with a C Corp, you're so locked into corporate tax and personal tax that and to be able to pull that out and move it over to where you're it's like setting it aside over here for you. You don't have overhead over there. You're not paying commissions over there. You're not paying anybody anything other. I mean, you're paying us to take care of things for you, but we take care of all of it. And so, it's turnkey. And I think of it like this. all of y'all have accountants, right? And you don't have your own in-house accountant. You have accounting firms. That's what they specialize in. And it's the same thing here. The thing is you know why most people aren't doing this? It's because they didn't know it existed. And that's why I'm here today talking on your podcast, is to help people be aware of this, because this is an opportunity that is tried and true. When I say tried and true, we have done this for over 30 years in the car business. We have car dealers from Hawaii to Alaska to Maine to Florida to Texas, all over the United States, that we do this with every single day. And so we're like, man, it is a no-brainer to include the HVAC business in this, and that's why we created Warranty Re, and we're bringing it to you now.
Well, and one of these big things is guys talk about like we add value to our customer by adding an extended labor warranty.
Right.
You have to look at that in a completely different perspective, because you're actually adding a better layer of value to your customer by doing this through your own business, because you never know if that other warranty company is going to go belly up. Like Tim was talking about earlier, it doesn't happen very often, but we've seen it happen. What better way to feel even better about selling your homeowner an extended labor warranty when you know damn sure and well that if something happens, it's covered, because you also know what's going on with the company that is doing the extended labor warranty.
Yeah,
So
I can
it's a
tell you
complete different layer of protection.
let me tell you, right there in North Carolina, this happened, I don't know, 10 years ago. There was a big warranty company that was operating out of North Carolina for the car business. Okay. And the owner of the company was elderly. Okay. So his own son, came in to run the business, and his son took all the money that was set aside in reserve. Okay, now this wasn't reinsurance. This was just a regular warranty company, like you're talking about. He took all the money. He even went so far as his dad had made him executor over his estate. Okay, and he went and mortgaged the dad's house completely, took all the money, and fled to some country we didn't have extradition to. Now they eventually, the FBI caught up with this guy, but you know what? All of those dealers, all of those customers were left hanging. Okay, and that's a terrible place to be, and you don't know. And I want to point out something else to you. Even now, even if you got a solid player out there to buy warranties from, they're holding the reserve. If they don't pay a claim, it becomes their underwriting profit, right? So
Yep.
if there is a gray area, which way do you think they're going to lean? All
Yep.
right. And with you, when you own your own company, own warranty company, you're able to be a better owner, because you're able to make a call on a claim. In fact, with you guys with HVAC, you're going to send us an invoice that says, hey, we did this and we're filing a claim, and we're going to send you the money. There's no, we're not going to haggle over it unless it looks ridiculous. Like, yeah, we went out and spent 30 hours on this job and we're going to file a $3,000 claim. Well, that might be a problem. But, for the most part, I would say 99% of the time, there's not going to be scrutiny on the claims, because it's your company, and nothing is worse than buying a warranty from Joe Blow's warranty company and then finding out that Joe Blow is not going to cover it, and that because it's a good customer, you have to come out of pocket. Now, not only did you buy the warranty from them, but now you're paying the claim out of your pocket too. So you got tagged twice on that.
The amount of times I've seen guys have to deal and just eat it forever, including my own family business when I was in that before I got into distribution. Um, I wish, you wish in one hand and do something else in the other, as they say. But this is one of those that I really wish I had known so much more of this stuff, years and years ago, because I think it would have made a huge difference to a lot of guys that I've done business with for a lot of years. Kind of one last major question talking about some of that. What would you say is the biggest warranty or even tax planning mistake that you see business owners make because no one showed them how to do something like this?
Well, what I normally run into when I talk to business owners is they either have a tax problem because they're making good money, or they have a cash flow problem. And to me, and look, guys, I've been in business a long time, okay? And I've learned from the best. And I'm telling you, if you got a cash flow problem, you're not charging enough, all right? And so that goes back to what are your rates and what are you doing? Because you have to cash flow. Your business has to cash flow. And if you're cash flowing your business, then those you're going to have money to do all of these things that I'm talking about. If right now you're having a cash flow problem, then and a warranty is going to cost $400 or $600, well then you should probably increase the price when you quote it to $400 or $600. Okay, yeah, there's not, in my opinion, I don't think there is a lot of folks out there who are going out comparison shopping for a lot of this stuff, because right now, and I know that y'all see this, the business is so much that they're lucky to get somebody out there in the next 6 months. Okay. And so they're not going to haggle a whole lot about what's going on. And when you're saying, okay, I'm going to, if you do business with us, you're going to get this warranty to guarantee that if you have a problem, we're going to be right back on it. And people like that. Okay. I have some guys that talk about doing, say, a 10-year warranty or something like that. And I think that's too much, honestly. Remember, the warranty, it's not going to earn out until the end of the warranty term. So going too long, well, they don't care about that anyway. They just want to know that if there's a problem, that you're going to come out and take care of it. And sometimes after that many years, it's probably time to do something different anyway, get something new. But as far as the mistakes made, a couple of things. I see that there are many times that companies, business owners, they have a mom and pop CPA that's taking care of them. Okay. They leave a ton of money on the table there. All right. So I think it's very important to get a CPA that really truly knows your business and how to help you there, and to put things in place so that you're not putting out so much tax, that you find ways. Like we were talking about earlier, some of the richest people in the world are not paying very much in taxes, and and it's because they're following the system. It's not that they're avoiding, it's not tax evasion. It's just tax avoidance. Tax
Yep.
avoidance is not against the law. Tax evasion is against the law. So this is an absolute legitimate way to avoid paying taxes, but also build yourself up a nest egg outside of your HVAC company over here. So that, and let me tell y'all something, nobody needs to know about this. And what I'm saying is, we even have car dealers that have reinsurance companies. Well, all the branding on on the warranties and such, it doesn't say anything about them. It's just like a third party company like everybody else as far as they're concerned. And they don't even tell their employees many times because they don't want to go, hey, Rhydon, I know you got that stack of cash over there. Why don't you go ahead and pay for this?
Yeah, right.
So so many times they don't even share that they're doing that. But what they do is by having a reinsurance company, it just makes your business better. It's better because you're paying less taxes, but you're also being able to take care of your business better. No matter so things happen, you got a pool of cash over here you can tap into. And at the end of the day, when you're ready to ride off into the sunset, you've built up $5-6 million over here that the most you're going to pay is 20% tax on. Even at the end of the deal, that's the most you're going to pay out is 20%. Then that's a pretty good deal right there. And to keep in mind, the whole time it's sitting there, you can draw interest. In fact, let me just share real quick. One of the cool things about a reinsurance company is that the money that is in there that is earned out that you leave in there, you can invest that money. So let's say you bought stocks or whatever, okay? Whatever the gains or losses for that stock buy, for instance, are within the reinsurance company. They're not. So if you had a great big gain, it's just over there in the reinsurance company now, and the reinsurance company would pay a dividend tax on that gain, but it doesn't reflect your personal tax return at all. So it's not like you just added a bunch of extra income to your personal tax return, which could change things there. These are separate things, and the only time that you're paying tax is if you took a dividend, and then it would be the same as if you took a dividend, got a dividend distribution from Microsoft. You had Microsoft stock,
Yep.
They issued a dividend, and that's it works exactly the same way.
Trade crew, let's be real for a second. Most callbacks aren't because the system doesn't heat or cool. They're because something small got overlooked. And condensate issues, that's one of the biggest ones. That's why I like the Assurity system from Diversitech. It's a full approach. Pans, switches, pumps, all designed to work together and create redundancy so you're not relying on just one line of defense. Because when water gets loose in a house, that gets expensive. Fast. Now here's the kicker. When you install it the right way, you can back it with the Assurity Promise. That's up to $2,500 in water damage protection. That's a big deal for your customers and for you and your business. Just go online to assurityhvacr.com. It's easy to register, tied to your install, and now you've got another way to stand behind your work. That's how you separate yourself. Ask your local distributor about Assurity from Diversitech today. What's up, trade crew? You've heard the buzz, you've seen the press gang at every single AHR. Contractors across the country are ditching their torches for RLS press fittings, and they're not looking back. Why? Because RLS lets you finish faster, safer, and cleaner. From rooftops to mechanical rooms, crawl spaces and attics, it's a press and go solution that's leak tested, UL recognized, and proudly made in America. Make the switch to RLS and take the heat out of your installs, literally. RLS, rapid locking system, press forward and press on. Where do you see warranty RE going over the next couple of years as more home service companies understand this model exists? Do you have fear of competition, or is this something that you feel you kind of understand and you will continue to grow without a lot of that problem?
Oh my goodness, we're growing so much, and let me tell y'all something. Not everybody has good succession planning, and I know that every business owner listening to this right now has to think about that. what's going to happen? Am I going to build this thing up and sell it, or do I have somebody in my family that wants to take it over? Ryan, you were talking about working for your dad at one point. All right, so I did too, but I want y'all to know this. I'm the CEO of Warranty Re. My son Taylor is the president of Warranty Re, and he and my son Parker is the vice president who runs the customer relations side. Okay, and they're in their 30s. We're going to be around for a very long time. And from the time we even started talking about this, I want y'all to know we haven't run an ad. Not one ad have we run, and our phone has been ringing off the hook. Okay, because people see business, whether they're HVAC, car dealers, for instance, all the time. Now, we run ads for the car dealers and have for years under Dealer Re, but under Warranty Re, we haven't run any ads yet. And we're already getting so many inquiries. We're going to be doing this for a very long time. We plan on scaling this company to we're going to 10x it, baby. Let's put it that way.
You've spent decades helping business owners keep control of their money in this way. What keeps you passionate about doing this?
I appreciate you asking that because um, we truly are helping people grow their companies. Okay. Well, it is such a blessing. I just yesterday. Now, let me tell you something. The biggest regret that we hear from our clients is just what you said a while ago. I wish I had done this years ago. Okay. And you know what? That just yesterday, I don't know if y'all use text request, but when people send us a text through the company line, it comes up on an email and it tells me, and I read them as they come through. And a guy just yesterday was just raving about a couple of our employees, and then he said, I wish I had done this years ago. Because once the light comes on and you understand what you got here, it is just like, wow, this is a game changer.
What should a contractor do first after they hear this conversation? Besides, probably listen to this one more time. Um, but what should they do if they want to learn whether this fits their business or not?
Well, they can give us a call. Our phone number is 804-824-9533, or they can go to warrantyre.com. Now that's warranty with a hyphen and then re.com, our website, and look that over. And, they have inquiry forms in there. They just, put their contact information and somebody will get back with them. But give us a call, go to the website, all the normal things. So warranty-re.com.
And I'll ask you this a little bit more about it when we get done. I want to see if we can set up something that I can list on my website for listeners of the show that can go through the resource hub and get to you guys as well, so that there's information that way as well. You've got the mic for the end of this. What's the final message that you want to leave with the trade crew that are listening to this about money, warranties, and ownership, and faith, if you want to include that too?
Well, hey, look, I can tell y'all that it's incredibly important to put God first in your life. I recently read a book called Outwitting the Devil, and it's by Napoleon Hill. And I don't know if you guys are familiar with Napoleon Hill, but
Think and Grow
Napoleon
Rich.
Hill, yes, he wrote the book Think and Grow Rich. Now, it was one of the first books of its kind, and it was written in the 1920s. And so, right after writing Think and Grow Rich, he wrote Outwitting the Devil. And but his wife didn't want him to release it until she died. So that was the deal. So they created the Napoleon Hill Foundation, and they put this book in the manuscript and stored it there. and it stayed there for 70 years. And then a lady named Sharon Lecter, who is also an author and part of the Napoleon Hill Foundation, they discovered this manuscript and she had it published. And it guys, if you want some really uh, solid advice on using your faith to grow your business, this is the book. And let me tell you, the reason his wife didn't want him to publish it, I think she had some fear there. But the first two chapters are about how he came to this, and when he was publishing, how he found the money to even publish Think and Grow Rich. And Dale Carnegie is the one that encouraged him to do that. And then but the remaining chapters, it reminds me of C.S. Lewis's Screw Tape Letters.
Oh, I love that book. I absolutely love Screw Tape Letters.
So Screw Tape Letters is two demons talking back and forth about how they can capture Christians, right? Well, this is an interview with the devil, okay? But God has said the devil has to answer all questions honestly, okay? So it's super cool. The book is a must read. I love the audio because they've kind of got actors playing out the two parts. And then Sharon Lecter comes in and kind of narrates a little bit of it. But man, that has helped me tremendously lately, just to understand where faith and prayer helps to keep our mindset. Because one of the things he says is that if in order for your plan to succeed, you must take action. Okay. And the thing is he says that if there is any fear, one of the things he discovered now remember, he interviewed all the great rich folks of the day back then, whether it was, Ford or whoever. And what he found is that if there is an inkling of fear in your mind, it's going to taint what you do. And so it's just a good read, and I recommend that. But guys, just keep on, okay? You're going to face problems. You're going to face in fact, most businesses fail in the first 5 years, they say, right? So I want you to just remember this. Keep on. It happened to me. I almost quit years ago, just thinking that I wasn't going to make it. And so perseverance is incredibly important. As Napoleon Hill would say, definiteness of purpose. You keep your purpose. This is my purpose. This is what I'm going to do every day. And I'm not going to drift from right or left. I'm going to stay straight and keep my mind focused on growing what I got, and don't give up. That's Winston Churchill, right? Never, ever give up.
I love that you brought those books up, because you don't know this. Most of the people listening to this know it now, but they don't know it when we're recording this. I quite literally yesterday just finished putting together the very first book lists from a lot of things I've read, and they're not done. There's so many more books I got to load into them. But I've got one list that I'm calling the Trade Crew Playbook, that is stuff that's just essential that I think you guys should read if you have the opportunity about growing your business. The other list is a bit more personal, because it's things that I have read that have impacted me, with my journey in faith and my journey in life and business and everything else. And I think I only put maybe 12 books on one of the lists so far, but Napoleon Hill is in the business list, and Screw Tape Letters and a couple other C.S. Lewis books are in my book list. So I thought that's really awesome that you brought those up.
Well, let me give you one more that will help you to get your company aligned. Because guys, I want to tell you something. John Maxwell says that we all have a lid, okay? A leadership lid. And that lid is that if you have people working for you and they start bumping up against your knowledge, that they're eventually going to leave you because they have a greater lid than you do. All right. So it's very important that you continue to grow in your knowledge of all things. All right. Business related, but leadership is incredibly important. Now, there's a young lady named Natalie Dawson who wrote a book called Start the Work. And if you guys want a playbook, literally a playbook to how you should run your business, you have to read Start the Work. And I'm telling you this, as a business owner, you get in there and you start reading Start the Work, and you're going to read it and read it and read it over and over and over again. And when you start implementing just the things out of Start the Work, you are going to see a huge difference. And the other thing I will add is we are not in the welfare business, okay? We're not in the welfare business. And if you have people that are working for you and they're not cash flowing the company for you, they're just there every day, they're just doing their thing, and they're not increasing your company, then you need to replace them. And that's one of the most difficult things to do. But I have seen my wife, her father was an HVAC guy. Okay. He was in the HVAC business, and he had people that he had for years, and they were friends or whatever. And he felt responsible for them, and they literally drove his company into the ground. Okay. Don't let that happen to you, because your responsibility is to those who are doing the job and their families. Don't let one person or two people in your company to be a drain on your company. And let me tell y'all something. It may be your brother. It may be your daughter. It may be whatever. It may be somebody that you've allowed into that company that is like a bad apple in a big barrel, and it is souring your whole company. You can't let that happen to you.
Yep. You got to cut out the rot.
You do.
You got to cut out the rot.
Hard.
It's very hard.
Yeah, but read Start the Work. It's really good, and it'll give you some really good just guidance on what you should do every day.
Well, Tim, thank you so much for your time, your knowledge, your information. Like I said, I will work on getting some resources and some links and stuff from you set up on the resource hub on the website. Any last final words before we say have a good weekend, everybody?
Well, hey, thank you for having me. I look forward to hearing from you guys. Like I said, it's warranty-read.com, warranty-read.com. Give us a call, look us up. We want to help you, and we look forward to it. And we're going to take good care of you, I promise.
Well, I appreciate it, Tim. Trade Crew, hope you guys enjoyed this. I hope you got some information from it. And if you need anything else, please reach out to myself, and I'll get you to Tim if you don't go to him directly. Take care, everybody. Peace. And that's another one in the books, Trade Crew. If this episode brought you value, make sure you like, follow, and subscribe on whatever platform you're listening on. Share this episode with your friends, your coworkers, your install team, your sales reps, and anyone else in the trades that need to hear it. And if you've got a voice, a story, or a lesson that the trades need to hear, this show is built for you. Head over to hvacrnd.com, use the show questionnaire link, or hit the links at any of our social bios, and make sure to get me your information so I can get you booked in for an episode of the show. Because if you're from the trades and you've got something worth saying, HVAC R&D is your platform. Until next time, keep evolving, keep serving, and keep the conversation going. Collaboration over competition always wins, so ramble on, Trade Crew.